Hey Mama, it's Jocelyn here. I am a fellow mom of 5, and I have done a lot of trial and error research throughout having my 5 babies on how to remain more calm in pregnancy, on how to get rid of some of those annoying and frustrating negative thoughts that come with pregnancy. And I have learned a lot over those 5 pregnancies, and I feel it very strongly that I need to share what I've learned with you so that you can implement it into your life and to have a more positive pregnancy. That is what I am here to do, to help you increase your mental health and to enjoy your pregnancy better than being stuck in negativity and how hard it is, because it truly is hard. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. Now, you're probably wondering if I found my most recent pregnancy easy and more of a breeze because I've figured everything out. No, that is not the case. Everything was not a breeze. I still had some very hard and difficult moments, but using the mental techniques and also some physical ones that I talk frequently about has helped me greatly improve how I get through my pregnancies and has allowed me to have 5 babies. I have always wanted a bigger family, but the first 2, I was thinking I might only have 2 because it was that hard. I really had to turn over to the Lord, and I had to do a lot of intentional mindset work myself. And the combination of both of those has helped me to find more positivity and to find more beauty and joy in pregnancy. And that's what I want for you. Right now, we are going through a pregnancy week by week, and we are almost there. You are almost to the end, Mama, and I am so excited for you. There is nothing as sweet as holding that sweet little baby in your arms for the first time. It is so incredible. Today, we are going to talk about baby first, and then mom, and then, of course, as always, I will go into some of the mindset things to help you through these last couple weeks of pregnancy. Baby, around this time is around the size of a loaf of bread, but they can weigh anywhere from 6 to 9 pounds, the average being around 7. They are still about 20 inches in length, and their organs are mature. But their brain power could still be developing. So don't rush the process. Don't try to get induced early because babies need that extra time until they're ready to come. It really does benefit them and it benefits you. So keep up with the patience. If you are struggling with the patience, I would encourage you. I think it was last week's episode where I talked about patience. If it wasn't, I will link it in the show notes. But that... I know you just are so ready to be done. I have been there. I've had those moments and times where I'm so ready to be done with pregnancy. But it is good to be patient and to wait. For you, Mama, baby may have dropped farther into your pelvis, which can be nice because this can give you room to breathe. You may be able to eat more. But I also want you to be aware that sometimes babies don't drop further down into your pelvis until birth. You've probably heard women talk about it, or women have noticed oh, your baby has dropped, you're all of a sudden carrying lower than you were before. That just means your baby is preparing to come to this earth, which is exciting, but also might make you have to use the restroom more. So those are a couple of things to be aware of. Something that also could be starting to happen with you is that you could be dilating and your cervix could be thinning. So what do those things mean? If this is your first baby, you're probably still learning, and even if it's not your first baby, sometimes learning these things are good. So the cervix thinning is where your cervix shortens and becomes thinner in preparation for the baby to be born. Dilating is where your cervix opens to allow the baby to pass through the birth canal during labor. So you could actually still be quite a ways away, like weeks away from delivering your baby, or it could be coming soon, but your cervix could still be dilating. So dilation is measured in centimeters, and 10 centimeters is full dilation, and that is necessary for childbirth vaginally. So that's necessary for a child or a vaginal delivery. So if you are planning to or trying to have your baby vaginally, your cervix will reach 10 centimeters. It's pretty amazing. And the more I learn about it, the more fascinated and more, the more miracles I see there are in childbirth. So that's what dilation is. And be excited if you are starting to dilate a little bit. How they check dilation is they usually, so you'll put a gown on, and your midwife, doctor, OBGYN, whoever you have, will reach their fingers in your vagina and see how far dilated you are. Now, you don't have to check. You don't have to have them check. You don't have to have them look at this as you get closer to the end. Especially if you're more a medical doctor, they will probably encourage you to be checked, but I don't even remember. I need to see if I journaled or video journaled about this, but I don't remember if I got checked at all for my 5th baby. I did have a midwife, and she did know some of my preferences. Actually, I think in the hospital I got checked, but the baby was actually like really close. So, but I don't think I had her check before we went to the hospital. Nonetheless, just know that's an option. If you prefer not to be checked, just tell them. Like, you don't have to be checked. I think sometimes the doctors and midwives make you feel like you have to do things their way. But they actually work for you. And so, yes, they have medical advice that you don't probably know. And you can listen to what they say, but you can also tell them your concerns and reasons why you don't want to be checked. So there is that. But those are good things that could be happening to your body right now. I do want to say that if you are a first-time mom, usually don't plan on going into labor early. In fact, usually plan on going over your due date. The statistics with first-time moms are most of them tend to go over their due date. So it will actually help you mentally if you just mentally plan on going over your due date than planning to go early. Because each day that you don't have the baby and you go over your due date, you just get more and more discouraged. And that can lead to not only feeling discouraged and that negative mental emotion, but it can lead to you not feeling super jazzed and like ready and excited about the birth process because you're already in a negative funk. So if you just plan on going later, you'll feel better, and you'll be able to maintain the positivity a little better, which is really important. Something that you may want to start doing if you haven't already is to pack a hospital bag. Just have something ready. And you don't have to do this but it is nice. Let me tell you why. For some babies, I have waited till I have been in labor to pack the bag. But at that point, I am not thinking straight. And I'm like anxious and just trying to get through contractions. And I don't remember everything. So unless you've got like a pre-prepared list, I would encourage you to pack at least a general hospital bag and then maybe write a note on top of the things you need to throw in last minute, like your toothbrushes and your deodorants, things like that, like personal care products that you use daily, but you'll want there. Maybe put on a sticky note on top of your bag so that it's mostly ready to go. And then when you go into labor, you don't have to really worry about that other than a few of your toiletries and maybe some like clothes that you frequently wear. Another tip is to buy or make freezer meals. Yes, this is so nice. I mean, hopefully you have people that just pour in and bring meals to you after you have the baby. That's always nice and enjoyable that you don't have to make the meals, but there is a lot going on after you have the baby. You're trying to heal. You're very sore down there. You're trying to figure out breastfeeding. You're very low on sleep because newborns do not sleep very good. And you're just tired. Like it's a lot. And so if you don't have to think about making meals, prepping things, and you can just throw something from the freezer into the oven, it will make those first few weeks of adjusting so much easier. I mean, even if this is not your first baby, I highly recommend buying or making some freezer meals. It is a game changer. Now, there is something I wanted to talk about, and I'm actually going to refer you to Bridget Tyler. But that is if you are concerned if your baby is too big or if you feel like your pelvis is too small. I watched a video or listened to a video from her about that, and she has really good statistics and things to tell you about that. So it's always good to do your own research. But if you want the watered down version is even if they do ultrasounds to try and estimate the size of your baby, usually the ultrasounds estimate bigger than the baby actually is. Now I know there's outliers, and her video will give you all the research and statistics on that. Nonetheless, it is something to keep in mind that your baby may actually not be bigger than a normal average size baby. So that is something to think about as you go throughout this week. The thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to mental preparation is not panicking. And sometimes, like, I'm not talking to those who have panicking disorders. What I'm going to tell you may not work if you have some type of panic disorder, but if you're just pretty normal and you can think through your thoughts, like, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the people who don't have disorders like that. If you have a disorder, this is not your episode. Go find someone else who can help you. And otherwise, stay tuned. Panicking is not going to help anything. So the contractions are going to get painful. Don't panic. You're going to need to go to the hospital. Don't panic. You're going to be birthing a baby through your birth canal, through your body. Don't panic. And how do you not panic? So it takes a lot of intentional thought, actually, and it takes you being willing to choose to not go into panic. There are a lot of things that I'm going to suggest that you can do to take you out of panic. The first is to realize that you have agency. You have the liberty to take your mind away from panic and to push it away, to push it out, and to focus on different things. Use that ability to choose for your benefit. Choose to think different thoughts. Choose to breathe. That's probably one of my biggest recommendations, is to only think about breathing. Do not think about anything else so that you don't have options to panic. Just thinking about breathing to 4, breathe out to 6. So breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do it again. And only allow yourself to think about that when you are feeling some of this panic and worry. Because panic, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it's one of those negative emotions that does not help and serve, and actually can lead to complications because the hospital staff won't know how to calm you down. And so they'll go to medical interventions to calm you down, which I am not a big proponent of medical interventions. I know they have to happen, and they actually have happened on my behalf, but not because of panicking. So just do your best to breathe. I had to have medical intervention, emergency C-section, because I had preeclampsia, which actually was eclampsia and turned into HELLP syndrome. There's only a select few of us that have had to go through that. It's not fun. Nonetheless, don't panic. I did panic when they told me I had to have a C-section. I actually think I passed out. I was pretty sick though. It was not a good situation. My blood pressure was skyrocketing like way off the charts, and it was not a good situation. So, I mean, if you're not in a good situation, sometimes you can't all the way choose, but if you are enough in your body and in your mind that you can choose, I encourage you to choose to breathe. Choose to breathe. Choose to breathe. And allow yourself to only think about that breath. And the panic will come and go, and you'll be able to breathe through it to where you might be able to find a spot where you're able to encourage positive thoughts. Instead of telling yourself, I can't do this, even if you feel like you can't do this, I want you to think, I can do this. Or if you feel like you can't say, I can do this, just say, I was built to birth. I was built to birth. I was built to birth. And just tell yourself these things over and over again, even if you don't believe them, because it will help you to get through this experience in more positivity versus, like I say, the stuck negativity of panic and discord. So I want this to be a good experience for you. It's hard. It is hard birthing a baby, but think of all the women before you who have done this, who have birthed babies, and they've done it without medical intervention, without epidurals, without the amazing options that we have these days. And remember that you can do it. I am cheering for you, Mama. You got this. I'm really excited to talk to you next week. I actually already have some mindset stuff in mind to share with you, and use these tips that I've given you to breathe, to think positively, to tell yourself you can do it, and remind yourself you're built to birth, to get through some of those things that may cause you some panic. We will visit again next time. Until next week. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.